Wouldn't you like to hit the ball hard in matches so that you can put away points and beat players who get everything back? That's exactly what you're going to learn in this lesson as you see my recent student go from playing points like this to playing points like this in just one session together. Let's find out exactly how she did it so you can copy the same drills and start hitting your own tennis shots much harder in matches. Every time I work with a student, we start with an evaluation of their skills. And when I watched this one start warming up and hitting forehands and backhands, something just didn't really add up because she told me that she was winning matches at the 3.0 level, but losing quite a bit at 3.5. I just couldn't at first see how that could be possible with such long, confident, athletic-looking swings. But when we started playing points out, things started to make sense. During points together, all of a sudden her swings started looking really short and tentative and careful. You can see she was like reminding herself in between points to follow through. And her swing speed just kind of fell off a cliff. And all of a sudden everything was a level lower. And I could tell she just wasn't able to use the athleticism that she actually has during points. And this is a problem that tons of tennis players have, and I took her through a special series of drills to help her unlock her athleticism and finally hit confident shots during points. So why is it so common that tennis players drop in intensity and level during real point play or matches? In my experience, it happens for three main reasons. Reason number one is a fear of losing by beating themselves. And so tennis players slow down and be careful to make sure that they don't make a mistake. Second big reason is a lack of understanding of how to keep the ball in play. They don't understand the technical dials to turn to adjust their shots and keep the ball inside the lines without reverting to slowing down and just being more tentative. And the third big reason why tennis players slow down is poor awareness of their intensity and their swing speed. I know that sounds kind of crazy that a player wouldn't know how intense they're actually moving their body, but in my experience, there's very low awareness of this, and that's the first thing that I wanted to focus on with this student. So to start off her training, I asked her to hit a series of balls on her forehand side as hard as she possibly could. Full intensity, max racket head speed. So here's what those swings look like. And you'll see it's dramatically different. All of a sudden, her racket is moving super freely and long. She's following through all the way. She looks really confident. And of course, she's missing some of these because I'm encouraging her to try to hit the ball as hard as she can. But what's incredible is that she makes some too. Even though she's swinging at full effort, a bunch of these go in the courts. And so she has enough technical foundation to be able to actually hit the ball quite hard and keep it in play, but she just doesn't have the ability to maintain it at a consistent and confident level during real match play. Now that she could feel and understand what a full intensity, full effort swing was like, I asked her to dial it down just a little bit and target a 6 or a 7 out of 10 on the intensity scale. Here's what that looked like. So these swings still look confident, but you'll notice she's making a lot more of them now. It's a dramatically better shot than what she was hitting against me in points, but without spraying the ball all over the place. And so you'll notice that I'm really giving her a lot of feedback.
It's a little faster. I like that. That's 6. That's 6.
But I'm also encouraging her when she misses to not slow down.
That felt like 7 or 8 to me. Bring it back to 6 again.
And to encourage her and say, yes, that was a 6. That was a 7. You're doing great.
That's nice. That's fantastic. Keep it there. Keep it there.
And so I'm detaching the miss as being like the primary focus. Instead of focusing all of her effort and intensity on just not missing the shot, I'm encouraging her to focus on tempo and using that as the output or the result that we're optimizing for, not just making the shots. And you're going to reach a point in your tennis career where you have to do that, where you've got to remove the making of the shot as your primary focus so that you can improve and develop and create better tools and better habits in your game. Once my student demonstrated the ability to hang out at a 6 or a 7 out of 10, we progressed and added a little bit more challenge by giving her a target zone or a target area. So you'll notice we created a target zone by using cones up here at the service line and then baskets back at the baseline. And so her target area is between the service line and the baseline and cross court. And so her goal now is to have a target while also managing her tempo. And so the tempo is the primary focus, but we also want her to start to demonstrate an ability to put the ball in a certain spot on the court. So now we're dual focusing and having the tempo be the primary thing, but now we also, of course, eventually need to be able to hit the ball in a certain spot on the court and not just focus on the tempo. So what we're doing here is we're shooting for 5 in a row. And as she started to make some misses, but manage her tempo well, I realized that she needed some additional information or tools to be able to adjust and keep the ball in play without slowing down.
Go ahead, grab a quick drink, and I'm going to write a super important phrase down.
Okay.
All right, this is everything. This phrase describes the physics behind every tennis shot.
Sure.
It's super critical.
There's 2 technical dials that you can turn to keep any ball in play, no matter how hard you hit it. And she needed that information at this point to complete the task of making 5 in a row. And in this lesson you're watching right now, I want to just keep the focus on tempo, but stay tuned for a separate upload that reveals what those dials and those adjustments are that you can make. Armed with that knowledge of how to adjust her swing and keep the ball in play without slowing down, she was able to make 5 in a row to our target area while staying at a 6 or a 7 out of 10 tempo, which is incredible.
Good. 4, do not slow it down. Keep it confident. 5, keep going. Keep going.
So notice we've layered some progressions here, and this is what you can copy back at home with any swing in your tennis game. I had her start out at a 10 out of 10 just to feel what it was like, get a baseline of full intensity. Then I had her back off to a 6 or a 7 out of 10 without any kind of target or target zone. Then I had her maintain a 6 or a 7 out of 10 while targeting a certain zone on the other side of the court, focusing on her output and actually achieving consistency while keeping the ball in the court. Then we went out, we had lunch. That's, I guess, progression number 4. And we came back and we played some points where I asked her to only focus on maintaining her intensity and maintaining her output at a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And these points were dramatically higher quality than what we played just an hour or 2 earlier in the morning. She did a fantastic job of maintaining her intensity, keeping her swing speed at a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and the results were just dramatically better. In the morning when we played points, I honestly felt no pressure at all. Like, all I had to do was just hit the ball back in play. She didn't hit anything that put me on the defense, and all I had to do was just hit a certain number of shots, in a row in the court, and eventually she would miss. Maybe occasionally she would try to kind of juice it up and put it away. But because she'd hit so many shots at a 3 or a 4 out of 10, when she went up to a 7 or an 8, she would just spray the ball and miss it because it was such a big jump. Now, after doing this training, she could just hang out at a 6, hang out at a 7, and actually build a point and build some structure, put me on a little bit of defense, and then start to put the ball away, which was super exciting and fun to watch. Going home with a focus on tempo has given her awesome results like this, and this, and this. The concept is simple, but being disciplined about training your tempo is not necessarily easy, especially when you don't know the technical adjustments to make to keep confident swings in play. And that's why you can't miss my next upload, where I'll tell you what dials to turn to keep the ball in play. In the meantime, if you'd like to work with me on the court, then shoot me an email to ian@essentialtennis.com.